I very much welcome this bill, and can I say also that I very much welcome the tone with which my honourable friend introduced it. It reminded me of that famous book, Profiles in Courage, by John F. Kennedy, when he said there are few, if any, issues where all the truth and all the right and all the angels are on one side. And I think we would do well to remember that in this House. There are coherent, persuasive and passionate arguments and points that have been made by people with every single type of view on Brexit, and we ought to respect one another and conduct the debate in that spirit. This is not an easy thing for me to vote for, because I've spent the last few years arguing passionately that delay has consequences, that companies in my constituency need certainty, and that the public can't take much more of this. They want to see us come together, they want to see us compromise, they want to see us respect the 48% of people who came out and said they wanted close ties with the EU, and they want to see— I won't for time, I'm afraid. And they want to see us also respect the fact that 52% of those who voted to leave the EU. We said it was their choice, and we have a duty to try and enact it. But the truth is that this is the right thing to do. There are people in my constituency, very many of them, a third of whom voted Remain, who now want to see us just stop this process altogether. And there are a number of people now, I would say the most significant group, who want to cut all ties and leave the EU altogether. They shout louder than the others, and they often drown out those voices calling for consensus. But it is my job to make sure that they don't, because they do not have the right to put food manufacturing companies in my constituency out of business. We lived through the closure of the mines in Wigan, and we live with those consequences still today. It was a tragedy for many families from which some never ever recovered. I will not let those small and medium employers in my constituency, who make up the bulk of employment, be put out of business because we cannot get our act together as a House, because we cannot stop this reckless Prime Minister, because we cannot then work together to achieve the deal that we have promised the people that we will get. They do not have the right to say to the child in my constituency who is waiting for a potentially life-saving clinical trial, "You will not get it." They do not have the right to keep mums who stopped me, a mum who stopped me at the train station to say she was stockpiling medicine. They do not have the right to keep her up at night because she doesn't know if her child will survive. And that is why I say that this matters. We have finally in this House, after years of saying that no deal was a hoax, that it was a bluff, that it wouldn't happen, we've woken up to the reality of it. Now we have to make sure it doesn't happen, and we have to go out and we have to win this argument with the public. And as my honourable friend so rightly and eloquently said, so we can walk out of here looking at the sky and not at our shoes.
Thank you.